Hello, friends. Welcome to Block Bytes. Every day we hear bad news about crypto. The floodgates of negativity opened wide right after the FTX debacle last year, and the ecosystem has not yet recovered from it. Amid this fog of uncertainty, a new report by the Citigroup appears as a light. But what does it talk about? Let's find out. Last month, Citigroup, a titan in traditional finance, released a report called Money, Tokens, and Games: Blockchain's Next Billion Users and Trillions of Value. This report aims to share what their research into the blockchain world has revealed. Citi feels the blockchain ecosystem is about to disrupt the world, and billions of users will bring trillions of dollars into this space by 2030. The report starts by contextualizing what disruptive tech is. It uses a definition provided by Clayton Christensen, celebrated author of The Innovator's Dilemma, which, according to The Wired, is one of the most, if not the most, important books chronicling how innovation takes place. According to him, disruptive technologies bring a very different value proposition to a market than previously. Generally, disruptive technologies underperform established products in mainstream markets, but they have a few features that a few customers value. Products based on disruptive technologies are typically cheaper, simpler, smaller, and frequently more convenient. Blockchains exhibit many of these characteristics. They certainly bring a different value proposition of an open and transparent system without intermediaries for all. And this has attracted, as some might consider, a few fringe users and builders to the space. It is also true blockchains have underperformed their Web2 counterparts. And the question of cheaper, simpler, and more convenient can be argued both ways. The speed of innovation in this space has been unparalleled so far, but the adoption has been lagging behind. The report suggests some insights into why that might be the case. According to the report, the main reason is that since blockchains involve creating new money and a new financial system based on that, it enables, or it rather enters, the realm of money or monetary and fiscal policy, a highly regulated industry in every part of the world. Mass adoption requires the constructive involvement of various institutions like governments, regulators, central banks, public and private banks, settlement companies, and large corporations, which is a tough ask. The report also makes an essential point that many people, especially those within the community, fail to recognize. Blockchain technology is not like AI, search, or mobile phones. It is more like cloud computing or innovations in CPU computing, because it does not have a main customer interface. This technology replaces the fundamental nuts and bolts that the future Google, Facebook, and AI will rely on. Sandeep Nailwal, co-founder of Polygon, once said, blockchain's endgame is to exist behind the scenes and power the world economy. So, blockchains are a disruptive technology and are also struggling to grow. The question then arises, how and to what extent will this space expand? Citi says that the blockchain space will have billions of users that need not realize that they are using this technology, and trillions of dollars by 2030. The report explains how this is going to happen. Users flow will primarily come from specific applications built on these blockchains. The first application is money itself. Countries are already experimenting with CBDCs, digital currencies, which are based on blockchain or similar technology. It is only a matter of time before we see them becoming mainstream, automatically ushering in billions of users worldwide. I have to make one point clear here. Countries will create private blockchain systems for their CBDCs instead of using public chains like Ethereum. So, as an advocate of public blockchains, I would not count this as growth. The other areas that would be instrumental in bringing in users would be gaming, NFTs, and social networking. As for the trillions of dollars in inflow, the report says up to $5 trillion could move to newer money format like CBDCs by 2030. Various forms of asset tokenization could bring another 6 trillion in values into this space, and other DLT based systems like Hedera Hashgraph. Here we could see public blockchains like Ethereum used. The report also predicts that in 8 years, blockchain will command a total addressable market of $147 billion. It will also be a sector with the highest growth of over 75%, surpassing even AI. In contrast, the ARK Invest Big Ideas 2023 is a much better representation of the public and decentralized blockchain side of the story. In their presentation, ARK forecasts that public blockchain can command 25 trillion in market cap by 2030. It is essential to understand the difference between the two figures. The 147 billion quoted in Citi's report is the total addressable market, which is the full size of the opportunity available in 2030. Whereas ARK's report talks of market value or market cap, which is a factor of the price of the tokens in circulation. Given the massive difference between the two numbers, it would appear that ARK Invest feels that there will be an enormous rise in the token prices of some of the prominent blockchains, including Bitcoin. Now that we understand how much and in what areas the private and public blockchains will grow, let's focus on what technological advancements are needed to facilitate this growth. The report provides 4 key drivers that they feel will be vital for mainstream adoption. First, decentralized digital identities. Second, zero knowledge proofs. Third, oracles. And fourth, secure bridges. Besides technological enablers, legal and regulatory considerations are also required to facilitate uptake and scalability without impeding innovation. Amongst the different use cases we have seen before, the tokenization of assets is probably the biggest in terms of opportunity size, and the reason why growth in crypto will surpass that of AI. The report defines tokenization as the creation of tokens, which are pieces of code on a blockchain to record information and underlying assets and liabilities, including their attributes or characteristics, status, transaction history, and ownership. For example, if you own a house or a piece of art, you could digitize it by creating an NFT on the blockchain. You can then use the efficiency and speed of the technology to sell, trade, borrow against it, or create fractional owners for it. The report mentions that money is the most significant use case in tokenization. To understand the size of this opportunity, let's look at this chart from ARK Invest. The real estate part alone is massive, but this includes retail, commercial, public, and infrastructure, not all of which requires tokenization. Everything else seen in the chart can also be tokenized, be it debt, equity, money, or commodities. How much of this opportunity is actually realized by blockchains, particularly public ones, is anybody's guess. But why is there a need for tokenizing assets? The Citi report answers this question. It says that although the financial system works, it is suboptimal as they are limited by the systems and processes they use. The infrastructure runs on old technology, and every area has its own tech stack, creating an environment of constrained interoperability between them. This has also given rise to intermediaries with their own infrastructure, resulting in operational inefficiencies as more back and forth is required. The problems discussed before provide a glimpse into the advantages of using blockchains. The most significant advantage is that they provide the technology to create a single data source that everybody can tap into. Automatically, this removes the silos created by the existing systems and replaces them with one ubiquitous network. Such a network reduces operational overhead as there are no interoperational complexities. Also, there is no need for intermediaries as one source of information is available for everyone. Another significant advantage of blockchains is that they work 24/7, enabling a globally accessible system that offers near instant settlement. The obvious question that arises, if there are real advantages to moving to blockchains, why have we yet to see this shift happening? Again, the report cites several reasons for this. First, legal and regulatory framework. Institutional adoption, especially in banking and finance, requires clarity to proceed. The recent congressional hearing of SEC chair showing Gary Gensler's inability to answer a simple question of whether Ethereum is a security or a commodity is clear evidence that this will be the biggest blockchain for the space. India, in contrast, has perhaps taken a logical, albeit long and arduous direction by inviting all the G20 nations to collectively work on defining a standard framework of cryptos. Second, friction to change. Like any new technological shift, change is a slow process. And blockchains are not just any other technological change, but one that fundamentally changes the way the world works. Third, lack of standards. In this rush, standardization is often overlooked. As a nascent technology, the focus is on building the rails and innovating. However, upon reaching a certain level of adoption, there will be a push for standardization. And finally, bad press. To further derail the adoption, the slew of bad press in 2022, starting with the Terra Luna meltdown, right up to the FTX crash, has left the crypto world badly bruised. The impact is seen with the recent spate of actions taken by the SEC in the US by singling out not only crypto projects and exchanges, but also banks in the garb of cracking down on crypto. The good news is that the underlying technology and the real innovation that is going on behind the media frenzy is real and is slowly getting recognized by industry. It is fantastic to see where crypto has reached in 10 years. From the foundation laid by Bitcoin to Ethereum building programmability into blockchains, to where we are today with conglomerates seriously thinking about stepping into the space. But there is also a not so great sides of things. Regulatory pushback, voices to ban crypto, and the overall media frenzy we saw in 2022 and beyond fueled a lot of negativity we as the community face today. Amidst this crazy atmosphere, it is great to see a report like this from one of the behemoths of traditional finance, endorsing what most have felt from the beginning. The road ahead will be more demanding, but Citi feels that mass adoption is just 6 to 8 years away. I hope you like this video. Do like and share, and I will see you next time with another fresh bite.